Did you hear this? President Obama over the weekend celebrating the United States' renewed relationship with communist Cuba.
President Castro's comments earlier this morning. A lot of the points he made referenced actions that took place before I was born. And part of my message here is the Cold War is over.
Another legacy item for the President of the United States, Peter Johnson Jr. Peter, what did you hear the President say?
Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. I mean, I don't know what he was talking about. A lot of Americans over the weekend said, what are we doing? The President is going south to Latin America to trash American senators with regard to their opposition to this purported Iran treaty, but at the same time apologizing for the alleged oppression, as Cuba puts it, for the past, and trying to put things right. Well, before you put things right, Mr. President, let's bring back some of the terrorists and fugitives that Cuba is holding. Yeah. We don't know exactly, maybe 150. Let's look at 4 of them. Number 1, Joanne Chesimard, also known as Assata Shakur, added to the FBI's most wanted terror list in 2013. She was part of a militant group known as the Black Liberation Army, and in 1977 was convicted for the murder of a New Jersey state police officer and sentenced to life in prison. So before we normalize relationships, bring her back.
She's a cop killer.
Absolutely. Then Charles Hill. Mr. Hill is wanted in the 1971 slaying of a New Mexico state policeman. The trooper was shot in the throat. Then he hijacked a TWA jet, and he wound up in Cuba in 1971, and he's one of their poster boys today. Because
remember, back in the 70s, people would hijack jets because it was much easier to get a gun inboard, and they go take them to Cuba.
It became a joke, but it was no joke. A big-time problem. Number 3, Victor Manuel Guerrena, key participant in a $7 million armed robbery of a Wells Fargo truck in 1983. He's been on the FBI's 10 most wanted list since 1984. That's longer than any other fugitive. And now number 4, Guillermo Morales, who may have a connection to the Francis Tavern bombing here in New York. Key figure in the Armed Forces of National Liberation, convicted of weapons charges and sentenced to 89 years in prison after a bomb he was making in Queens blew up and destroyed his hands in 1978. That didn't stop him from jumping out of Bellevue Hospital window and going to Cuba.
Well, if the president wants to normalize relations with Cuba, that's on his agenda. But at the same time, we got to get something back. And these terrorists and these cop killers, that's a good start.
First thing to get back. We know what we're going to give. We know we will give cultural exchanges. We know we will give educational exchanges. We know we will give money. We know we will give citizenship over time. We know what we will give, and we will give, and what we will give, and what they will take and take and take. But a lot of Americans are saying, what's the rationale on Iran and on Cuba? What does America get? We know what Cuba will get. We know what Iran will get. But will we get the justice that we deserve and that we seek to hold fugitives and terrorists, 50, 100, 150 of them, and at the same time, we go and apologize for the oppression of America? That seems to be dissonant in my mind. And so we may be, everybody loves us down in Latin America this week, but what's changed?
Sure. Give us the cop killers.
Give them back.
Give them back. All
right.
Peter Johnson, thank you very much.
Good to see you.